All right, what is good, YouTube? We are back, and I am talking about the AFC North division. Let's get it cracking. We're going to start off with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then we're going to work our way down. Okay. So the Steelers have made a lot of moves, as we all know. Um, let's share it. Here we go. Okay. What is this? I know it's going to show me. There we go. So the Steelers, they have made a lot of moves. As we all know, they got rid of Kenny Pickett, who was god awful for them, and they brought in Russell Wilson and they brought in Justin Fields. The QB position is still a question mark for them. Russell Wilson, at this stage of his career, and the fact that it's been years since he has looked any semblance of his Seattle self, I'm not that confident in Russell Wilson. I think eventually he will get replaced. I think Justin Fields will eventually replace him, and I'm not too confident in Justin Fields as a quarterback. I think with both of these QBs, they're at best bubble starters. They're replaceable. They would be the best backup in the league, but one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And I look at this offense with Arthur Smith. We saw what he did with the Atlanta Falcons, albeit it was with Desmond Ritter. The offense didn't look too well, even though it did have Desmond Ritter. The offense still looked bad. You do have George Pickens. You do have Van Jefferson. They drafted Roman Wilson, but that offensive line. Do you really trust the offensive line? I mean, look what they're doing with Broderick Jones. He's not playing his usual position. They moved him around too much. I think was he a right tackle coming out of college, but now they have him playing left. They're having him moving they're having him move around so much that it's stunning his growth as a offensive lineman. And in the preseason, we saw some clips. He was struggling a lot, and that has to do with the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't doing their job in developing their offensive line. For crying out loud, how many years have they had this issue? Ever since I would say the final years of Big Ben, like the offensive line has been atrocious. It just seems for whatever reason, the offense can't seem to find an identity. And then you look at the running backs. I like Jalen Warren, but in this offense with Najee Harris, he's not going to get as many touches as we want. Najee Harris, on the other hand, I'm not confident in Najee Harris as a running back. He's slow. He you would think he would break a lot of tackles. He'd be one of them dudes, but he's not really that good. Pat Fryermuth, I think he's overrated. I think a lot of people overrate him because of 1 year. I don't think he's that great. I think he's an average tight end at best. These weapons just don't move me. I think a lot of times on television, a lot of media people they tend to overrate these weapons. I don't think George Pickens is all that good. I think he's okay. He'd be a solid number two, a wide receiver two option, but he can't run routes for real. He has like two or three routes in his arsenal, and that's about it. So what do I to make of this offense? It just looks terrible. Not a good OC. Quarterbacks are suspect. Offensive line is suspect. And the receiving core, I don't like it at all. This just screams like the year where Tomlin will finally finish with a losing record. You can't keep getting away with having subpar offensive talent, a subpar quarterback, and a subpar offensive coordinator in a division of this magnitude. Like the AFC North is the best division in football. I don't see how they can rebound from all this. Defense, they're always going to be respectable. I mean, they brought in Patrick Queen. He's a really, really good linebacker, but was some of that due to the fact that he was playing alongside arguably the best linebacker in the league? It could be possible. There's no Roquan Smith on the Steelers. Obviously, I like TJ Watt. Like, he's an amazing player. Minka Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter Jr. I want to see more of what he can do in year two. He was in year one. Cameron Hayward, Keanu Benton, like they have some dudes, but is it good enough to win 9 to 10 games? I don't see it. I think this offense and this defense is just not good enough. I'm just not. I'm not a believer in the Steelers this year. Plain and simple. I think Mike Tomlin is getting to the point where I think he needs to change the scenery because there's nothing appealing about this team. There has been nothing appealing about the Steelers in the past 4 years. And the fact that nothing has changed, we're still in the same old position. There comes a time where there needs to be a change. And I think after this year, we're going to see that. All right, let's go to the next. Matter of fact, before we continue, I want to looking at the Steelers. Who did the Steelers? Let me look at the draft picks. Steelers draft picks. I don't want to. So they drafted a tackle in the first round. They drafted a center in the second round. So they're putting a lot of resources in their offensive line, but it's still a work in progress. They're still struggling out there. And I'm not confident that they can develop a good offensive line in 2024. 10 years ago, they had some of the best offensive line with Pouncey, with a couple other dudes on the offensive line. But now it's just been a struggle. I just don't see it this year for the Steelers. Sorry, Steelers fans, but it's not going to be one of them good years. Let's go to the next team on the list. Let's go to the Cleveland Browns, one of the playoff teams from last year. Made the playoffs without Deshaun Watson. All right. So the Cleveland Browns. I like Amari Cooper. I think Jerry Jeudy is a quality wide receiver. Elijah Moore, he's a good number three for you. Their offensive line is one of the best in the NFL. It's no question about it. They are missing Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb will probably come back in the middle of the season, but I like Jerome Ford. He was a quality running back for them last year. Their tight end, David Njoku, he's one of the best in the NFL. My thing with the Cleveland Browns, and it's pretty obvious, it's Deshaun Watson. I mean, Joe Flacco was able to lead this team to the playoffs. Deshaun Watson, ever since he started for the Cleveland Browns, has been atrocious. He just has. He hasn't looked the same. He hasn't looked like his old self at Houston. Maybe it was a scheme thing. Maybe he's getting exposed now. Right now, you're getting paid all this money, and he doesn't look like that guy. He doesn't look like that dude that we all expected. The last time Deshaun Watson played in Houston, he was a top 5 QB. Now, when we look at Deshaun Watson, we're like, he might be one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL. This Cleveland Browns team, it all boils down to Deshaun Watson. Like Deshaun Watson, they put all these resources to make sure to compete for a championship. And the common denominator is on you. All of the expectations, all of just everything is on your shoulders. Without you playing relatively decent football, this team doesn't go far. We saw with Joe Flacco, a backup in this stage of his career, lead this team to the playoffs. If you can't even do that, if you can't even play better than Joe Flacco, then There should be no reason why you should really be playing in NFL because Joe Flacco hasn't been good since he was with the Ravens. And the fact he was able to lead this team to the playoffs says a lot. Defensively, they're also really good. I mean, you have Miles Garrett, who's arguably the best defensive player in the NFL. And then you have Denzel Ward, who's one of the better corners in the NFL. You have Greg Newsome. You have Jordan Hicks, Zadarius Smith, Shelby Harris. You have a lot of dudes on this defense that can play. The Browns are one of the more talented rosters in the NFL. Kevin Stefanski, one of the better coaches in the NFL. The time is now, Deshaun Watson. The time is now. There is no excuse. You have to get the deal done, or all that stuff you did in Houston will just be forgotten forever. You'll be one of the you'll be looked upon as one of the worst contracts in NFL history. Let's go to the Cincinnati Bengals. They finally have they have Joe Burrow back. I am a huge fan of Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is one of the four best quarterbacks in the NFL. They've been making a lot of moves this offseason. So they're still dealing with Jamar Chase situation. I expect Jamar Chase and the Bengals to get a deal done before the season starts. Obviously, he's still not dressed up for practice. He's still dressed up in street clothes. But I think Jamar Chase will eventually suit up for the Bengals week one, and they're gonna have a deal done. He's not gonna sit out and get fined, and the Bengals are gonna take his money from game checks. That's not gonna happen. He's gonna get his money from his game checks because he's gonna play. Here's the thing. So the Bengals drafted Amarius Mims in the first round. Why is it red? Is he hurt? Regardless, they drafted offensive lineman in the first round. They brought in Mike Gesicki. Like they have Joe Burrow. They lost Joe Mixon, but they brought in Zach Moss. And if you remember Zach Moss with the Colts, while what's his name, Jonathan Taylor, while Jonathan Taylor was dealing with his issues, Zach Moss filled in and he did his thing. He was tremendous. And even when Jonathan Taylor came back, Zach Moss was still doing damage. Chase Brown, he's somebody else. Chase Brown, he can catch out the backfield. He's explosive. That tandem is going to do some things for the Bengals. I expect a lot from those running backs. You still have T. Higgins for another year. This is probably going to be his final year before he goes into free agency. And then they also drafted Jermaine Burton. I really like Jermaine Burton. He came out of Alabama. He had a tremendous camp. He had a tremendous preseason. He's going to add some speed to the outside. I like Jermaine Burton. This offensive line has gotten better. They added another weapon on the outside. They added two good running backs that I really like in Zach Moss and Chase Brown, and Joe Burrow's back. I expect some big things for the Cincinnati Bengals. And then also you got to remember they brought back Von Bell. They brought in Geno Stone. Remember, one of the big things about the Bengals is they utilize their safeties a lot. And without the guy from the Falcons, it was Jesse Bates. They lost Jesse Bates and Von Bell, and that hurt their defense a little bit. Well, you bring back Von Bell, who's familiar with the system, who was really good for the system, and then you bring in Geno Stone, who's a quality free safety from the Baltimore Ravens. That's going to work wonders for this team. And then you still have Sheldon Rankins, you still have Sam Hubbard, you still have Trey Hendrickson. They have some guys on this team. I mean, Mike Hilton is there. I like this team a lot. I like the defense. They have one of the best defensive coordinators in the league in Lou Anarumo. The Bengals are going to compete this year, ladies and gentlemen. As long as Jamar Chase and the Bengals figure out a contract, they're going to be back again competing for the Super Bowl because Joe Burrow and those boys are talented and they're ready to go. I like this team a lot. I really do. They have done a tremendous job in filling out this roster and figuring out different ways to accommodate Joe Burrow, especially with that huge contract that he got. T. Higgins, he's on a 1 year deal. This is it for him. This is their last dance with T. Higgins. I don't expect them to be able to sign him to a long-term deal. So the time is now for the Cincinnati Bengals. If you don't win this year, then it's going to be very difficult next year. So let's go to the final team on the list. Let's go to the Baltimore Ravens, who won the division last year, who was one game away from the Super Bowl. They had the two-time MVP in Lamar Jackson. Let's go to the Ravens. So offensively, we already know they have Zay Flowers. They have Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar, Ronnie Stanley, Andrew Voorhees, Tyler Linderbaum, Daniel Roger Rosengarten, Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson. They have Isaiah Likely backing up Mark Andrews, Derrick Henry, Pat, whatever. Broderick Washington, Michael Pierce, Justin Matabuki, Odafe Okui, Roquan Smith, Trenton Simpson, Kyle Van Noy, Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams. I think Marlon Humphreys, didn't he get injured during the middle of the season? Hold on. Let me make sure I'm not tripping. I think he may have gotten injured during the middle of the season. I could be wrong about that. Let me check. Let me see. Okay, he played against the Chiefs. All right, I was tripping. Yeah, so their defense is tremendous. Mark Andrews, if you remember, he got hurt, I believe. So I think Isaiah Likely filled in for Mark Andrews. Here's my thing with the Ravens. Number one, you lose Patrick Queen, so that's a huge deal. He was one of their best defensive players last year, a tremendously talented linebacker. And then also you lose Mike McDonald, who was the defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens were one of the three best defensive teams in the NFL. You got to remember, they played the 49ers on Christmas. What did they do? The defense was all over Brock Purdy, just the confusing Brock Purdy, pressuring Brock Purdy, and then against the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes wasn't really able to do much that game. He managed the game. He did a fantastic job. He avoided any turnovers, but at the end, there wasn't much explosive plays. There wasn't much of anything that the Kansas City Chiefs could do up until the end. You lose Mike McDonald and you replace him with Zach Orr. I'm sorry, I don't know much about Zach Orr. You still have Todd Monken. How is this defense going to play like without Mike McDonald and without Patrick Queen? I still think this team is too talented not to compete for the Super Bowl. I think they're still really, really good. I think the addition of Derrick Henry is going to work wonders for them. I like Derrick Henry more than Gus Edwards. I know that for sure. My thing is, okay, the receivers on the outside with Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, and Nelson Aguilar, is that good enough to compete? Zay Flowers is going to have to take a huge leap this year. I think he does have the talent to do it, but boy, oh boy, it's going to be a tall task. I wonder if they're going to do more two tight end sets with Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. I mean, they're both really, really good tight ends, and Lamar Jackson likes throwing to his tight ends. I like the Baltimore Ravens. I like this team overall. I'm just I'm just a bit concerned. Like it just seems like every year they don't put enough resources on the wide receiver position. I mean, they tried to go after Odell Beckham, but he was pretty much cooked food by the time they offered him money. This year, it's just the same old, same old. Like it's just mediocre wide receivers. It's like one solid wide receiver, and then everybody else is like mid tier or trash. I just wish the Baltimore Ravens would really put more effort into trying to address the wide receiver position besides drafting one wide receiver and then putting a bunch of mid afterwards. I just think it's not good enough. I like Derrick Henry a lot, but he's like 31, 32 years old. Like he's up there in age. But yeah, let's go to pick the teams. I want to pick the teams right now. All right, so AFC North. Number 4 on my list, I'm gonna go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't trust the QB situation. I don't trust the offensive coordinator. I think roster wise, the worst out of all the teams in the division. I think Mike Tomlin, his days are numbered. How many years can you keep getting away with putting up subpar QB, subpar offensive talent and win 50, more than 50% of your games? I just don't see it this year. I think this is the year where it finally catches up to him. I don't think the defense is talented enough to overcome a subpar offense. Number 3 on my list, I'm gonna go with the Cleveland Browns. I believe the Cleveland Browns, with Deshaun Watson at the helm, they're always going to be held back. Deshaun Watson, if he was the same Deshaun Watson from Houston, they would be the best, arguably the best team in the division. But I don't see Deshaun Watson getting back to that form. I think he dealt with like a shoulder injury or something, and he's still trying to come back from that. I'm just not sold on Deshaun Watson. As simple as that. Nick Chubb, he's hurt. I wish he would be back by now, but he's still coming back from an injury. The defense is really, really good, but offensively with the quarterback situation, I'm not all the way sold with Deshaun Watson. I think they'll still win close to 10 games, but in terms of winning the division, I don't see it. Number 2 on the list, I'm gonna go with, damn, this one is tough. This one is really tough. I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Ravens. And this is like a coin flip for me because Bengals, like the Ravens always had the Bengals number, but for whatever reason, the Bengals still find a way to win the division sometimes. Whenever they're healthy, they figure out a way to win the division. I think this year with Joe Burrow coming back, I think Joe Burrow's going to be healthy for the remainder of the season. With that being said, I don't see the Ravens winning. I look at this Ravens team and I say to myself, okay, you lose Mike McDonald and you lose Patrick Queen. That's a concern of mine. Now you did draft Nate Wiggins. I like Nate Wiggins a lot. That was a big addition. Nate Wiggins, one of the best corners in the draft, but he is a rookie, and that didn't address the linebacker position. I think the wide receiving core is still a bit of concern because without if Zay Flowers goes down, who else can you rely on? Like Nelson Aguilar and Rashad Bateman? Like, come on now. Like, let's be honest. Derrick Henry is a really, really good really, really good running back, but in the playoffs, you're gonna have to throw the ball eventually. Not saying that Lamar Jackson isn't a tremendous thrower of the football because he can throw the football. He's an amazing improviser. I just look at the players on the outside, and I don't think they're going to be able to help Lamar Jackson. Remember, in the playoffs versus the Chiefs, what happened? During the end of the game, Zay Flowers fumbles the ball in the end zone. That's one of the receivers you have to count on. And I think in the playoffs, when it matters most, you're gonna have to count on your skill positions. Now, even before the playoffs, they're gonna have to count on the skill position. But Lamar Jackson can only do so much. He can only carry the offense so much. I just don't see this team being better than the Cincinnati Bengals with all those weapons on the outside, all those weapons in the running back position. So yeah, I'm gonna have the Baltimore Ravens at number 2. Number 1, I'm gonna go with the Cincinnati Bengals. Like I said, Joe Burrow's coming back. The offensive line, they drafted an offensive lineman in the first round. You bring in Zach Moss, you bring in Chase Brown. I like that duo. I like that running back duo. Chase, I think they're going to figure out something for Chase eventually. And the T. Higgins, he's coming back, and then you draft Jermaine Burton. You bring in Mike Gesicki. I like this team. I like the offense a lot. The defense, I already mentioned it before with Geno Stone, with Von Bell, and then you also have other players as well already there with Lou Anarumo's defense. This seems like another great year for the Cincinnati Bengals. Does that mean that they're going to beat the Baltimore Ravens in the regular season? No, it doesn't, because the Ravens could real life just sweep them, but I still think the Bengals could win the division. That's just how I see it with all these teams. That's how I rank them 1 to 4. Bengals, Ravens, Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers. Those are my predictions. Thank you guys for watching. And I think now what I want to do is I want to play a game. I want to do my top 32 QBs in the NFL. So I think there is some sort of QB ranking test or something like that. I think there's like some sort of QB ranking. Oh yeah, here it is. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to play a game. This is like a ranking quiz. I don't know if you all have ever done this before, but pretty much it's like a blind ranking where it's like, okay, you pick this, you have two QBs and you pick who is better between the two. And then after, I would say once you're done with the game, it will have like a list of all the 32 QBs that you were picking between the two. You'll see. We'll show it like right now. Let's show it right now. I'm gonna do that and then I'll share. So here we go. All right. So obviously I'm gonna go Justin Herbert on that one. Woo! I'm gonna go Dak, Derek Carr, Jaden Daniels. I know Jaden Daniels hasn't played the game, but I'm going Jaden Daniels. Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes, Tua, Jordan Love, Kyler Murray, whoo, Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, CJ. This is like ass and trash. Wow. Okay. This is wow. Wow. It's like ass and trash. Let's see here. I'm gonna go Jacob Brissett, Lamar Jackson, easy. Caleb Williams. I know Caleb Williams hasn't played it down, but I'm going Caleb Williams. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. Michael Penix. Michael Penix hasn't played it down yet, and he's not gonna play it down for like 3 years. So go Sam Howell. Go Geno Smith. Baker Mayfield. Ooh, Bryce Young. Brock Purdy. Patrick Mahomes. Anthony Richardson. Tua. Jordan Love. Jared Goff. Jared Goff. I'm gonna just go with Russell Wilson right now. Kirk Cousins. Aaron Rodgers. Ooh, wait. Oh shit. Fuck it. I'm gonna go Aaron Rodgers. Trevor Lawrence. Joe Burrow. Oh, so right now I'm gonna go Josh Allen. He played the full year. I'm gonna go. I know. Bo Nix hasn't played it down, but I'm going Bo Nix. Oh, fuck. Go Bo Nix. Deshaun Watson. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. Derek Carr. Derek Carr. Geno Smith. Geno Smith. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. Gardner Minshew. Anthony, excuse me, Anthony, Bryce Young. Tua, I'm gonna go Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes, easy. I'm gonna go Justin Fields, Kyler Murray, goddamn, Kirk Cousins. I'm gonna go Jared Goff. I'm gonna go Jared Goff. Oh man, yo, oh my God, yo, screw it. I'm gonna go Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Dan Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence, C.J. Stroud, Joe Burrow, Will Levis, Will Levis. Uh, I don't know, I don't know. Ooh, ooh, God, dear God. Ugh. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Deshaun Watson. I just go to Deshaun Watson. Jalen Smith. I'm gonna go Caleb Williams. Baker Mayfield, Justin Herbert, Justin Herbert, Justin Herbert. Go Drake May. Justin Fields. Justin Fields. Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson. Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray. Ooh. Ooh. Let me go Kyler Murray. Brock Purdy. Yeah. Oh, God. This is tough. Let's see. Man, this is tough. Brock Purdy played the whole season. Brock Purdy. Man. Brock Purdy, Jared Goff. Brock Purdy, Jared Goff. Brock Purdy, Jared Goff. Brock Purdy, Jared Goff. Bro. I'm gonna go Jared Goff. Jordan Love. Jordan Love. Matthew Stafford. Patrick Mahomes. I don't even like know, bro. I'm gonna go JJ McCarthy. Sam Howell. Bro. Bro. I'm gonna go Daniel Jones. Go Will Levis. Go Will Levis. Will Levis. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence. Ooh, that's tough. Trevor Lawrence. Jalen Hurts. CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud. Ooh. Justin Herbert. Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson. Ooh, Lamar Jackson. James Winston. James Winston. Sam Howell. Sam Howell. Gardner Minshew. Michael Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew. Uh, God, bro. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Man, go Will Levis. Oh, God. Oh, go AR. Go AR. I like Bryce Young more. Go Trino Smith. Tour, 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 Trevor. This one is tough. I'm gonna go Trevor. Man, we go Kurt. This one, oh, this one is tough. This one is tough. I'm gonna go slightest. Dak. I'm gonna go Dak. I'm gonna go Dak. Go Dak. Jordan Love. I'm gonna get the slight edge to CJ because he was more consistent, but it's like 49 to like 51% to me. Like it's a coin flip. I'll give CJ Stroud the slight edge. Yo, this is tough. This is tough. Like really tough. I'm gonna go Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes. All right, so let's look at this list real quick. So we have Mahomes 1, Lamar 2, Josh 3, Burrow 4, Justin Herbert 5, Matthew Stafford 6, CJ Stroud 7, Jordan Love 8, Dak 9, Aaron Rodgers 10, Jared Goff 11, Brock Purdy 12, Kirk Cousins 13, 14 Jalen Hurts, 15 Trevor Lawrence, 16 Kyler Murray, 17 Tua, 18 Baker Mayfield, 19 Caleb Williams, 20 Geno Smith, 21 Bryce Young, Deshaun Watson 22, AR 23, Jalen Daniels 24, Derek Carr 25, Russell Wilson 26, Justin Fields 27, Will Levis 28, Gardner Minshew 29, Bo Nix 30, 31 Jacoby Brissett 32, Daniel Jones 33, Sam Howell 34, Drake May 35, James Winston 36, JJ McCarthy, and 37, Michael Penix Jr. I like the list. I like it. I like this list a lot. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Courtside View Podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Oh yeah, by the way, I need to make my picks. Before we go, let's do the picks for week one. So for the Thursday night game, I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs. For the Packers versus Eagles game, I'm gonna go with the Packers. So then let's go to Sunday. Let's see what we got Sunday. Let's see schedule. So Pittsburgh versus Atlanta. I'm gonna go with the Falcons. Buffalo versus Arizona. I'm gonna go with Buffalo. Chicago versus Tennessee. I'm gonna go with Chicago. Cincinnati versus New England. I'm gonna go Cincinnati. Indianapolis versus Houston. I'm gonna go with Houston. Miami versus Jacksonville. Ooh. I'm gonna go with Miami. New Orleans versus Carolina. I'm gonna go with the Carolina Panthers. The Giants versus the Minnesota Vikings. I'm gonna go with the Minnesota Vikings. Los Angeles Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. The Seahawks versus the Broncos. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. Cleveland Browns versus the Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna go with the Cleveland Browns. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Washington Commanders. I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm gonna go with the Commanders. Detroit Lions versus the Los Angeles Rams. I'm gonna go with the Detroit Lions. San Francisco 49ers versus the New York Jets. I'm gonna go with the San Francisco 49ers. That'll do it for my picks for week one, and football season's back.